In this video, I'm going to teach you a technique that will solve multiple problems in your acting audition monologues. Hi, my name is Jeff Kaplan. I'm an acting teacher here in the New York City area. I have a PhD in theater as well as a Master's of Fine Arts in dance. I taught at the college and university level for many years, and now I am sharing in-depth knowledge about the performing arts with a wider audience. Monologues are a difficult convention because in normal everyday life, people do not simply speak to the air for extended periods of time. I mean, I do, but most people don't. As a result, monologues are really hard to establish context with and therefore to get people to suspend disbelief, especially in an audition in which you have to go from 0 to 100% in an instant. To help actors with this challenge, I teach what I call the big three. These are questions that you need to have clear in your own mind. Number one, who are you talking to? That might sound obvious, but it's easy to forget. Number two, what is the context? In your imagination, what is the physical environment? And number three, what happened the moment before that caused you to speak? What set you off? The technique that I'm going to teach helps improve number one and number two. I'll handle the moment before by itself in a future video. I think the best way to learn the technique is to just jump right in, so I'll show you how it's done, and then at the end of the video, I'll give you 10 ways in which you can put this into practice. I call this technique personas. Different acting teachers will have their own names for the same idea. You can think of it almost like a layer or a filter that you put on top of a photograph. I'm going to assume that you have a monologue picked out. I'm going to further assume that you have read the entire script from which that speech comes so that you're able to put it into context of the overall story. And I'm also going to assume that you've done at least some basic character work. If you've not done those things, that's your first step. But assuming you have, let's dive in. Let's say that we have a monologue in which we are breaking up with a romantic partner. That's something that probably everybody can relate to or can at least imagine. Now, we could simply say the monologue to space, or in our minds, we could pick out a specific person who's the recipient of our ire, our anger, and we can rant and rave at them, and that works. But maybe we can go further. What if we were to do the monologue as though we were a trial lawyer giving a closing argument to a jury in a murder case? So sort of an energy like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my significant other is guilty of being an insufferable jerk, and we need to take this relationship and put it in jail and throw away the key. Alternatively, what if we were a medical doctor who had to give bad news to a patient about the very poor prognosis for this relationship? Or what if we were somebody who was very empathetic, like a counselor who just wants to sit down next to you and have a conversation that is going to be painful in the moment, but ultimately is going to lead to greater healing for everybody? To be clear, we are not going to change the text of your monologue at all. The playwright has given us words, and our job as actors, as interpreters, is to say those words, all of those words, no additional words, and those words in the correct order. That's hard, but that's our job. There's no ad-libbing, there's no editing. However, personas will change how you say those words, and therefore what they mean. So in our example, let's say that one of the lines in the monologue goes, "We've done everything we could. I'm sorry. This relationship has no future." I will deliver that line for you 3 times so that you can see what each of these 3 personas does to that line. Lawyer, doctor, therapist. We have done everything we could. I'm sorry, this relationship has no future. We've done everything we could. I'm sorry. This relationship has no future. We've done everything we could. I'm sorry. This relationship has no future. Okay? Now, gang, don't get caught up on being too literal. Jeff, I see what you're doing, but you see, the thing is, in my monologue, my character's not a lawyer, so that kind of doesn't work. I understand, but can you bring the quality of a trial lawyer to your character in this moment? Again, we're not rewriting given circumstances. We're not changing anybody's profession. We're putting an additional emotional layer on top of the character work you've already done. And folks, people in real life assume personas all the time. Hopefully, in real life, you have never had the experience of a romantic partner coming at you in an argument as if you were a defendant on the witness stand. It is whew, not fun. Or let me ask you a question. Whenever you go to some kind of social gathering, a party, something like that, have you noticed that there always seems to be one person who holds court as if they were a king or a queen? They tell endless stories about their wonderful selves, and they're surrounded by a circle of fawning sycophants who listen with rapt attention. Super annoying, right? So people perform, all the world's a stage. You are also likely to run across this technique in an acting class. If you take an intermediate level acting course, an acting 2, scene study, something like that, the teacher will have you do this kind of work because it's good training. And folks, you may very well see this technique in an actual audition. I use it whenever I give auditions. For example, I remember one time an actor came in to audition for me for something, and one of the monologues that he brought was this angsty, involuted, one of those. It was amazing. He did a great job. And so I said to him, that was wonderful. I'd like you to do it again. This time, I'd like you to do it as a comedian doing a stand-up comedy routine in a club. He thought about it, smiled, and then he did it. And that was great too. So why did I ask him to do that? Well, 3 reasons. Number 1, I wanted to see what he would do. I gave him an acting problem. How does he solve it? As a director, that gives me information about what this performer might be like to work with in an actual production. Number 2, is this actor open to taking my direction? Okay. And number 3, I thought it would be fun. And it was. So that's personas. At this point, I'd like to give you 10 examples of personas that you can use right now to work on your monologues. First, though, I do want to let you know that if you want to work with me on your monologues, this is my website below. There are 2 ways that we can work together. One, you can send me a link of your recorded monologue, and I will record my response, not just about personas, but my evaluation of your monologue overall and what I think you should do. Alternatively, we can set up a live coaching session, although the way that my time fills up, I may not be able to offer that service for a long period of time. Or if you just want to work on personas for free, by all means, get together with a friend, try it out, record yourself, see what you think, or just try it. Okay, so here are 10 personas that you can use. Number 1, giving a toast at a family member's wedding. 2, you are a professor giving a lecture to a lecture hall filled with 200 undergraduate students. 3, giving confession. 4, you are a sailor on a nuclear submarine deep under the water, and your ship comes under attack. 5, smack talk before a boxing match. 6, you're with someone special on a beach in paradise. 7, you are a sports coach giving a halftime pep talk, and your team is down by 1. 8, exchanging secret spy documents. 9, you are an executive chef having a diva moment because one of your cooks has done something horribly wrong. And number 10, cabaret performer entertaining an audience. So those are 10 ideas for personas. I'm sure you can brainstorm 10 more. Enjoy, like, subscribe. I'll see you in a future video.